Yee, we're on. Right, we're on YouTube. Mute that. Okay. So, Derek, I'm going to go live on TikTok. I think you need to go live as well, and then I can invite you in.
Okay. I'm going to do under my other account.
Okay, cool. So you're talking about your old account, 'cause that's the one with the the followers, isn't it?
The Kingslayer one, yeah.
Do you have
Yeah.
over 1,000 followers on that one now?
Yeah, it's doing great. My Holy Trinity one, they must have it bogged down or something, because I post the same videos on that and I'll get like 3 likes, maybe a couple follows here or there. But this one has taken off. I wish I could switch it all over to that one.
Well, that's good. Sometimes you just do need a refresh. It feels like you're taking a step back, but you actually need to move back a bit in order to make the leap, don't you? And get across.
Yeah, no, it definitely helped a lot. That's for sure. I don't know if it's just the algorithm or how it works, but it was nice having a little reset. And I think I told you I deleted some of those videos that if there was anything that's questionable, I just got rid of it, because it's not worth losing your account over, you know.
Move back a bit in order to make the leap, don't you? Is that on YouTube? I forgot it was already online on YouTube.
Yeah, I was just looking at.
Hey, YouTube guys. Right, I'm live on TikTok now as well, so whenever you're ready.
I'm live, yeah, I'm ready.
Just say hi to our YouTube. Okay, and we're on TikTok as well. And then what I'll do as well is I'll do a little intro, and then we can share our screen after that. So,
okay.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. So, are you live now?
I am.
Let's have a look. Host the live with others. There you go. I hope we don't get into some kind of battle or something. Way.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know whether you'll need to mute your audio on one or the other.
I already have, yeah.
Right, I've done mine as well, so hopefully that's fine then. I think I've done mine anyway. So anyone who's watching us, let me know if the audio is like whistling or if it's all good. We're actually on a live on my YouTube as well as on TikTok. We've got a group going at the minute. We've been doing these live readings of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. So we've been reading the different chapters, and we're on chapter 5 today. So we've got our group together today. We're going to be reading chapter 5 and going through it and basically talking about how it pertains to spiritual enlightenment, and basically how all of the different religions and different cultures all have this same one truth, which is what true enlightenment is. It's basically the true way that humans are meant to kind of live life. A lot of it's down to being really just kind of connected to the earth, to nature, to making sure you're looking after your body and eating well, you're keeping your temple clean and stuff. But the different religions, and this text as well, have different well, they tell you the guidelines on how to actually live to attain Christ consciousness and to become your own magician, your own mage, the own god and goddess of your realm and your reality. And so why I like to read these books and to show you guys the different like hidden secrets in there is because spiritual enlightenment and attaining Christ consciousness is for everyone, and it's accessible for everyone now in this lifetime. So you don't have to like have done meditation for 1,000 years and to have been living in like a Buddhist sanctuary for like your whole life. Like, you don't need that at all. Enlightenment, true enlightenment, you can actually achieve with a couple of months or years of hard work, and or lifetimes of not as hard work. It's up to you really. But I wanted to share with you guys the secrets of the Emerald Tablet and how they all share this one truth of basically spiritual enlightenment and ascension. So if you guys, I don't know if any of you actually read the Emerald Tablets before, but what I like as well about this is that it's kind of a bit more accessible for those who aren't into religion. I know that a lot of people have kind of grown up either with a lot of religion and they don't really like it, they feel a bit suppressed by it, or others just didn't have any religion at all. Like me, I grew up like an atheist and I just wasn't really that bothered about religion. I kind of saw it as a negative thing. Or there's some people who probably are really happy with their religion and stuff. But what I like about the Emerald Tablets is because it's not really assigned to any religion, it's a lot easier for those who kind of haven't like found God themselves yet, or for those who are just interested and aren't really on the path. Hey, Katie. Who aren't really there on the path, but just are interested in finding out more or whatever it is. The Emerald Tablets are very nice because they can allow you to do that in like an easy way. And there's so many secrets in these tablets that like every time we read a chapter, we're all kind of taken back a bit about how much is really hidden in here. So if you want to actually read the chapter with us, I'm going to be sharing my screen on my YouTube live. It's Gabby Zakara on YouTube. You can actually see Derek, who I'm sharing the live with, he's actually recording the screen as well, so that's quite cool. You'll be able to actually see what we're doing on there. So what I'm going to do is get the Emerald Tablets up. This particular copy that I've got, it's just one that I found online, but I read the Emerald Tablets for the first time probably about 3 to 4 years ago, and I'd never really heard of them before, and I only read them once, but I was so surprised and taken back about what was in them because I found this path to enlightenment before I read the Emerald Tablets. Basically, my spiritual teacher was teaching me about the path to enlightenment, the same path that Buddha taught, the same path that Krishna taught, the same path that Jesus taught, the same path that all the ascended masters taught and knew. And I'd found out so much about it, but because I'd just heard it from like my spiritual teacher and what he said, I wasn't 100% whether it was really true or not until I can actually go and experience it for myself. But when I read the Emerald Tablets, I was really taken back because everything that he'd been saying was in these tablets, and this is something that I kind of felt like I'd been guided to myself, and it helped me to really think, oh wow, maybe there really is something in all of this, because when you start to get universal truths, that you find this same truth in all the different religions, in all the different cultures, hidden in all the different stories, then you know that it's something bigger and something more than what it seems. I always like to see religion and truth as like this one bright white light of God. Truth is God and light and love, like God is just basically that. And so I see it as all truth is this one light of God. And when you split a white light, when you shine it into a prism, it splits into the 7 different colors of the rainbow, the 7 rays. And I see these 7 rays as, say, like a manifestation form is like the 7 main religions, as an example. They're all different rays and all different expressions of the one truth. So even though Buddhism shines their truth through this blue ray as an example, and it's like using the energies and the frequencies and expressions of that particular ray, and maybe Christianity is on a red ray or something and they express their truth in that kind of way. Even though they appear different, they're all still of the same truth, of the same one white light. And so that's kind of how I see all truth. And there's something really nice in seeing the unity and the oneness in all things, because all things are so synchronized. The actual science that I'm talking about is actually called syncretism. This is the science, or the ability to see the oneness and the similarities in everything that exists, because nothing is a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. Derek, I have invited you again on here, but I don't know where the invite's gone at the minute. So then what I'm going to do is share my screen. So we're on chapter 5 of the Emerald Tablets. If you guys don't know, Thoth the Atlantean, who wrote down this wisdom and this knowledge, he is an incarnation, I believe, of the planet Mercury. Mercury is the messenger of the gods. He is also the god Hermes was an incarnation of Mercury. Merlin was Mercury. Mercury and all the different planets and the luminaries, I call them, because they're not actually planets. They're actually lights in the sky. So all of the main like planets, like Saturn, Venus, Mars, the ones that you can see in this, including the sun and the I'd say, they are all lights. And so they are all conscious awarenesses, they're all the gods and goddesses, and they come down and incarnate onto the earth as different throughout different ages to teach the same truth, which is enlightenment, and how me and you can become gods and goddesses for them, and how we can basically become a star again and become a luminary, become a light in the heavens. And so that's the path that we're all on. And so Thoth the Atlantean came down and taught this same truth. He basically came down, he became an enlightened master himself, because a lot of the enlightened masters, when they come down to teach humanity how to ascend, they've done it so many times that their soul already knows how to do it. So it's built within their soul to seek out enlightenment and to become enlightened. And so that's what he did. And he basically like met God. He had like an ego death. He became enlightened. And what he talks about in the teachings of the Emerald Tablets is that once you become enlightened, you can live forever. You don't die by the hands of man. You can only die when you choose to die. Derek, I've sent you an invite again. I'm not sure why it's being weird. So that's a big thing. You don't have your ego once you become enlightened. I can hear myself echoing on there. I'm not sure why at the minute. When you're enlightened as well, you have like a divine connection to divine wisdom and stuff. Sorry, so I can hear myself talking here, so it's putting me off. I just want to make sure the audio is right before I carry on. Derek, have you joined? So I can't even see your camera. Can I check anyone who's watching us? Can you hear us okay? Is it echoey or anything like that, or is it all good? You can see him, okay. Can you hear us good? Okay, fab. So yeah, those basically, thanks guys, I appreciate you letting me know that. So he came down and he became a magician. He became an ascended master. And then he, when you're enlightened as well, you have like, he became king and then basically lived as an enlightened master, and he taught the race of humans around him how to become enlightened as well. A lot of them did. And then he also had people who weren't wanting the light. And so eventually it ended up being that he was living as king and ruling as king for thousands of years. And it got to this point where humanity had started to descend again. So Thoth was like, right, now is my time to go. I've done what I can do. I've saved as many souls as I can whilst I'm here. And what I want to do now is write down the truth, write down the teachings, and basically make sure that that when those who are ready in humanity to ascend again, and those who want the light again, make sure that they can have the light and they can have access to it through his teachings and through what he wrote down in the Emerald Tablets. The actual Emerald Tablets themselves, something we checked out was that we thought, well, I was like, why would they write it on emerald? Like emerald's obviously the heart chakra, it's like green. Could it be to do with, I don't know, emanating love, or the fact that crystals, you can actually imbue them with your own intentions? So not only did he write this information down on the tablets, but he might have actually imbued and encoded the tablets themselves with the wisdom and the knowledge. So with more than just what you can see with your eyes. It might have had energetic codes and stuff in there as well. But something that we read was that the Emerald Tablets are said that they aren't actually made out of emerald. They're green, but they're actually made out of a material that doesn't exist on the earth, and that Thoth had basically created this material through magic, through the use of alchemy, as an indestructible material, so that the tablets and the truth could never break and be destroyed and stuff. I don't know which one's true, but I just find it interesting to share those thoughts and ideas and stuff. Did you guys have any thoughts on that before we actually start reading chapter 5? No? Okay, fab. So just so you guys know, on TikTok, I'm actually live on YouTube as well. So if you want to watch our screen, you can do so there. I think, Derek, are you still sharing the screen on your phone as well? With your camera? No, you do whatever works for you. If it's better just having you on there to talk, that's fine as well. I just want to make sure that everyone can see what's going on. So yeah, Soulful Bliss, I 1000% agree. Different crystals have a different vibrational frequencies. The colors themselves prove that, because the different colors, the rays of the rainbow, they are different frequencies. Red is the lowest and it vibrates the slowest. And then you go up from red all the way up until purple, which is the highest, and that has the highest frequency. You can see it with your internal rainbow, which is your chakra system. You've got the red, the root chakra, and then it goes up the rainbow into the highest frequency chakra, which is your crown chakra, which is like purple or white. So the different crystals, you can tell which ones will vibrate higher and lower because of literally their color. It's like the rainbow is a spectrum of light and vibrational frequency. So it's nice that you can see the physical manifestation of that, because you can really gauge then, and you can use the powers of the universe yourself for your own life, for your healing, for your manifestations, for whatever you need. You can utilize those frequencies once you're aware of them. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to just check, can you guys see that all right? If anyone's interested in joining our Zoom call as well, you can do next time on my website, which is in the link in my bio. You can actually leave your details, and then next time I will send you an email and you can jump on the invite too and have a chat with us live. Because what we'll do now, we'll start reading chapter 5. I'll read out bits. I'll interrupt myself with anything that I think that'll be useful to share, and anyone who's on the live Zoom as well, just unmute yourself and just pipe up or put your hand up, or however you want to do it. But we've got a small group today and they're all really intelligent. They've all got so much wisdom in their own way. So I'm actually going to just introduce you guys first. We've got Harry Kenner. Is it Kenner?
Yeah.
And we're all on TikTok. Think we've all got some kind of socials, and on the actual YouTube live, I'll post everyone's socials on there. So if you guys wanted to check it out and check out the other people on here, you can do that just through the information. Derek Lamping, is that your last name?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep that.
Yeah, okay. So
I'm just kidding.
Give away your full name, date of birth, and your social security number.
I know, right?
And then Philip, I don't know your last name. And
he's muted. He's muted. He's muted.
We've got Philippe as well. I don't know if you want to out yourself. I've outed everyone else.
I'm Philippe Smith. I don't know if you can hear me right now. Got like
Yes.
bad signal where I'm at.
Yeah, Philippe Smith then. So we've got three awesome guests today.
You got 33 on TikTok.
33. You know what I noticed actually today is, the chapter we did last time, the Spaceborne. I was like, oh, it was number 33, the page number that it was on.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
No, nor did I, but I'm like, cool. Also, so this is interesting, guys. I don't know what you'll think about this, but the chapter we're about to read is called The Dweller of Unal or something. So what I thought was interesting, and I shared it with you guys in the video that I sent, but the word Unal is an anagram of lunar. And so I would be interested to find out what or who the dweller of Unal is. Lunar obviously being the moon. And at the minute, in my eyes, there's quite a bit of speculation, hey Ash, with the moon, because I do believe that the moon is a divine goddess, and she's like the divine mother figure of the cosmos. But people also talk about how the moon is of the night, or at least she is in the night, and also that her energies could be being used at the minute as like a matrix trap to keep souls trapped in this matrix. So I'd be interested to find out a bit more about this Unal character, if it is a character or what, and what this means. Derek, have you ever heard of this Unal before?
I never have.
No.
I mean, the name's in a song, and it sounds like NL and Inky, but I've never heard of it, no.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard before, but it's an anagram of lunar as well. So I was wondering if it could be like, the moon goddess or something, or maybe a deity of the night, the dweller of like Luna, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, my personal belief is the moon is God's presence on earth. Like God is a divine feminine being.
Right, yeah, okay. I see where you're going. Right, so chapter 5. Guys, if you guys have the oh, your name means goddess of the moon, that's awesome. Mother Moon, yay. I've got a song coming out called Moon soon, so I'm like glad she's a nice woman. Derek, I can hear myself doing on someone's thing. I'm guessing it's yours. It's coming through my laptop this time though. Yeah, perfect. Right, so chapter 5, let's find out what's going on with this. So if you guys have read the Emerald Tablets before, put a little emoji of, what could we do? A little green love heart if you've read the Emerald Tablets before, and then we can see what we're working with as well. So the dweller of Unal. So often dream I of buried Atlantis, lost in the ages that have passed into night. Eon on eon thou existed in beauty, as shining through the darkness of night. Mighty in power, ruling the earthborn, lord of the earth in Atlantis day. King of the nations, master of wisdom, light through Suntal, keeper of the way, dwelt in his temple, the master of Unal, light of the earth in Atlantis' day. Master he from a cycle beyond us, living in bodies as one among men, not as the earth-born, he from beyond us, son of a cycle advanced beyond men. Know ye, O man, that Harlot the master was never one with the children of men. Far in the past time when Atlantis first grew as a power, appeared there one with the key of wisdom, showing the way of light to all. Showed he to all men the path of attainment, way of the light that flows among men, mastering darkness, leading the man's soul upward to heights that were one with the light. Divided the kingdoms he into sections, 10 were they, ruled by children of men. Upon another built he a temple, built not by the children of men. Out of the ether called he its substance, moulded and formed by the power of Utolan into the forms he built with his mind. Mile upon mile it covered the island, space upon space it grew in its might. Black yet not black, but dark like the space-time, deep in its heart the essence of light. Swiftly the temple grew into being, molded and shaped by the word of the dweller, called from the formless into a form. Builded he then within it great chambers, filled them from forms called forth from the ether, filled them with wisdom called forth by his mind. Formless was he within his temple, yet was he formed in the image of man, dwelling among them, yet not of them. Strange and far different was he from the children of men. Chose he then from among the people 3 who became his gateway. Chose he the 3 from the highest to become his links with Atlantis, messengers they who carried his counsel to the kings of the children of men. Brought he forth others and taught them wisdom, teachers they to the children of men. Placed he then the island of Undal to stand teachers of light to men. Each of those who was thus chosen taught must he be for years 5 and 10. Only thus could he have understanding to being light to the children of men. Thus there came to being the temple, a dwelling place for the master of men. I, Thoth, have ever sought wisdom, searching in darkness and searching in light. Long in youth, I travelled the pathway, seeking ever new knowledge to gain, until after much striving, one of the 3 to me brought light. This is just so nice. we'll get into it in a sec, but just I wasn't sure like who he was talking about for a sec. I was thinking, is he talking about himself in like a third party type thing? But now I feel like I'm getting it. So we'll just carry on this and then we'll go through it. So until after much striving, one of the 3 to me brought the light. Brought he to me the commands of the dweller, called me from darkness into the light. Brought he me before the dweller, deep in the temple before the great fire. There on the great throne beheld I the dweller, clothed with the light and flashing with fire. Down I knelt before that great wisdom, feeling the light flowing through me in waves. Heard I then the voice of the dweller, O darkness, come into the light. Long have ye sought the pathway to the light. Each soul on earth that loosens its fetters shall soon be free from the bondage of night. Forth from the darkness have ye arisen, closer approached the light of your goal. Here ye shall dwell as one of my children, keeper of records, gathered by wisdom. Instrument thou of the light from beyond. Ready be thou made to do what needed. Preserve wisdom through the ages of darkness that shall come fast on the children of men. Live here and drink of all wisdom, secrets and mysteries until thee shall unveil. Then answered I, the master of cycles, saying, O light that descended then, give thou to me of thy wisdom that I might be teacher of men. Give thou of thy light that I may be free. Spoke then to me again the master, age after age shall ye live through your wisdom. When, O Atlantis, the ocean waves roll, holding the light though hidden in darkness, ready to come whenever thou shalt call. Go thee now and learn greater wisdom, grow through thou light to infinity's all. Long then I dwelt in the temple of the dweller until at last I was one with the light. Followed I then the path to the star plains, followed I then the pathway to light. Deep into earth's heart I followed the pathway, learning the secrets below as above, learning the pathway to the halls of Amenti, learning the law that balances the world. To earth's hidden chambers pierced I by my wisdom, through the earth's crust into the pathway, hidden for ages from the children of unveiled for me ever more wisdom until I reached to new knowledge, found that all is part of an all, great and greater than all that we know. I infinity's heart through the ages, deeper and yet deeper, more mysteries I found. Now, as I look back through the ages, know I that wisdom is boundless. Know I that wisdom is boundless, ever grown greater throughout the ages, one with infinities greater than all. Light there was in ancient Atlantis, yet darkness too was hidden in all. Fell from the light into the darkness, some who risen to heights among men. Proud they became because of their knowledge, proud were they of their place among men. Deep delved they into the forbidden, opened the gateway that led to below. Sought they to gain ever more knowledge, but seeking to bring it up from below. He who descends below must have balance, else he is bound by lack of our light. Opened they then by their knowledge pathways forbidden to man. Built in his temple, all seeing, the dweller lay in his Awanti, which through Atlantis his soul roamed free. Saw he the Atlanteans by their magic, opening the gate that would to earth a great woe. Fast fled his soul then, back to his body. Up he arose from his Awanti, called he 3 mighty messengers, give the commands that shattered the world. Deep neath the earth's crust to the halls of Amenti, swiftly descended the dweller. Called he then on the powers of the 7 lords wielded, changed the earth's balance. Reading the whole chapter, and then we'll actually go through it piece by piece because there's a lot in this one and I'm just loving it so far. Can you guys hear me okay? I think we cut off for a sec, or I did at least. Perfect. I'm just going to share my screen again.
Yeah, the YouTube is running about a half minute late, half minute after. You speak one thing now, and in a half minute time, it does it. So it's quite a delay.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'll keep an eye on comments as well. Sonny, Jimmy, good evening. So, wow, I was really getting into this, and then my YouTube, my Zoom just crashed. So I'm going to carry on reading, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at these paragraphs section by section. Wow, just so much to talk about in this one. So, okay, so down sank Atlantis beneath the dark waves, shattered the gateway that had been opened, shattered the doorway that led down below. All of the islands were shattered except Unal and part of the land of the sons of the dweller. Preserved he them to be teachers, lights on the path to come after, lights for the lesser children of man. Called he there Nithoth before him, gave me commands for all I should do, saying, take thou, O Thoth, all of your wisdom, take all of your records, take all of your magic, go thou forth, preserving the records until in time light grows among men. Light shall thou be all through the ages, hidden ye found by enlightened men. All over earth we give ye power. Free thou to give or take it away. Gather now the sons of Atlantis, take them and flee them to the people of the rock caves. Fly to the land of the children of Chem. Then I gathered the sons of Atlantis into the spaceship. I brought all my records, brought the records of sunken Atlantis. Gathered I all of my powers, instruments many of mighty magic. Up then we rose on wings of the morning. High we rose above the temple, leaving behind the 3 and dweller. Deep in the halls neath the temple. Down beneath the waves sank the great temple, closing the pathway to the lords of the cycles. Yet ever to him who as knowing open shall be the path to Amenti. Fast fled we then on the wings of the morning, fled to the land of the children of Chem. There by my power I conquered and ruled them, raised I to the light the children of Chem. Deep beneath the rocks I buried my spaceship, waiting the time when man might be free. Over the spaceship erected a marker in the form of a lion, yet like unto man. Ain't no way he's saying he's buried his spaceship under the Sphinx in Egypt. Goodness gracious. So there beneath the image rests yet my spaceship, forth to be brought when needed shall arise. Know ye, O man, that far in the future invaders shall come out from out of the deep. Then awake, ye who have wisdom, bring forth my ship and conquer with ease. Deep beneath the image lies my secret. Search and find in the pyramid I built. Each to the other is the keystone, each the gateway that leads into life. Follow the key I leave behind me. Seek in the doorway to life shall be thine. Seek thou in my pyramid, deep in the passage that ends in a wall. Use thou the key of the seven, and open to thee the pathway will fall. Now unto thee I have given my wisdom, now unto thee I have given my way. Follow the pathway, solve thou my secrets, unto thee I have shown the way. What? Wow, okay, so there's so much to go through. One of the things that I've learned recently is that sometimes you have to finish something in order to actually understand it. So say for an example, if I hadn't just read that the whole way through, I might have started talking about guessing who I think the dweller of Unal is and just making up my own reasoning without actually reading on to learn who the dweller of Unal is. And so sometimes it's worth, before you even make your opinions about something or before you form your opinions, actually waiting till the end, hearing everything, and then you can form a better, more rounded opinion. So that's why I felt like I just wanted to read this through so I could really understand it. And wow. So let's just start from the beginning. So he was talking about how he dreams of buried Atlantis. He was talking here. So one of the things that came to me, and I would be interested to see what you guys think, is he's talking about a specific master who came down, similar to him. He's saying the son of a cycle, advanced beyond men. He's talking about how this guy is the light and stuff like that. And I think that he is talking about an incarnation of the sun, like the Jesus figure, Horus, Ra, whoever it is. I think that when he's talking about this great master who had three kind of magicians around him who he trained up, I think that what he's talking about is he was actually trained up by the sun, the incarnation of a sun. And what it reminds me of is, the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac, the sun is Leo. And then you've got the other 4 fixed signs. They're the 4 elements. They are basically the 4 archangels, this big strong number of the 4 main ones. So the what?
The 4 faces of God, Ezekiel's wheel, I believe is what they call it, but it's right. The man, the lion, the eagle, and the bull.
Yes, exactly. And the bull is Taurus, isn't it? The eagle is Scorpio. The man is Aquarius, and the lion is Leo. So the lion, Leo, is the sun. And so when the sun comes down, it's possible that he would be a reflection of the ray of Leo and of the sun and stuff. And so I think when he's talking about these 4 characters, he could just be talking about how God, the dweller, God himself, the all, came down and incarnated into these 4 different beings, because how I was talking about the one white light at the beginning, how it splits into 7 colors of the rainbow. God could come down and incarnate as these different rays or these different energies, these different vibrations, which are the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac, the 4 elements and stuff. And so for me, it's like the gods and goddesses were incarnated at this time in Atlantis, and they are who taught Thoth, because up until now, Thoth's been talking about how he's like been looking for wisdom, he's been looking for light, he's been on the path to enlightenment, but he's never told us like how he figured it all out. And what he's saying now in this chapter is that he actually had a spiritual teacher as well. And so this is the interesting thing about wisdom, how it's passed down and how we all help each other. Like I think that like there's something to be said for actually sharing your piece of the puzzle, because then we can figure out the whole puzzle. Hey Jojo, you okay?
Yeah, just trying to work this out on my phone.
No worries. So we're just reading chapter 5 of the Emerald Tablets. So Thoth is saying that he actually had a teacher, and I believe that the teacher could have been the sun. And the gods, the goddesses, the luminaries incarnated in human form to help teach this wisdom. So let's just see what it says here. So he showed Thoth the path of attainment, the way of the light that flows among men. He mastered the darkness, leading the man's soul upwards to heights that were one with the light. So on the spiritual journey, you've got the light and you've got the night. And I hear this talked about a lot. And even in these tablets, he talks about either being of the light or of the night. Basically, see the light as good and the night as evil. Some people like to say, oh, good and evil is subjective and it doesn't actually exist. But I would actually disagree, because I think that there's certain acts that happen to people on this plane that everyone would unify agree is pure evil. Like there's no way of saying, oh yeah, it could be positive. Everyone's soul knows that there's certain things that will take you to the underworld. And so it does exist. Go on, Derek.
I just wanted to share this comment from your live, Soul Bliss, that mentioned I think that's spot on. The 4 is the 4 elements: the earth, air, wind, or earth, air, fire, and water.
Yeah,
I think that's a great point. I just wanted to point that out.
yeah, definitely. So I don't know if you guys could hear that on there. I'm hoping you can. My laptop's not very loud, but they'll be able to hear you talking through your live anyway, I think. So 1000% with that. Because the zodiac do have their own element, don't they? Like fire is Leo, Aquarius is air. And so yeah, it's literally like all 4 corners.
Well, those 4 faces of God are the 4 fixed elements. So it's the fixed water, fixed earth, fixed fire, fixed air.
Yes.
So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So let's see what we're saying here. So okay, so they're saying that he divided the kingdoms into sections. 10 were they, ruled by the children of men. Upon another built he a temple, built but not by the children of men. So he created or built a temple using his mind and using magic. And it also talks about the power of the word, which is one of the most important things that I don't know if all religion does this, but Christianity tries to like make out like magic is of the devil, and that you're not allowed to use magic, it's not of God. And yet God gave us this tool, hi Sophie, in order to be our own magicians, to manifest the world that we want, to live a good life. And once you learn that there's actually black magicians, which just means people who are creating black magic, which is basically darkness, it's just magic without light. Light is bright, and then you can get white magic and you can get black magic. And so there are people on this plane, if you don't take control of your own life and your own reality and become the mage yourself, if you don't create your own spells and manifest what you want, other people will do that for you. You will have magic on you and your life, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you want to take control of your own life or not. So it's important to become basically step up your game. People try and control each other with magic, whether you realize it or not. Any negative word you say about someone is casting a negative spell on them. Every negative thought you have casts a negative spell on someone. So people are casting magic on each other all the time and don't even realize. And so we get it on our own lives. And it's like, for your own sake, empower yourself to take it back, empower yourself to get your own power back and take control and manifest the life you want, not what everyone else wants for you. So yeah, he created this temple with his mind, with his words, and so what does it say here? So yeah, then so I think it's the Son that was creating this temple, and then he chose among the people 3 who became his gateway. Chose he the 3 from the highest to become his links with Atlantis, messengers they who carried his counsel to the kings of the children of men. So it reminds me of, like people talk about the New World Order and stuff, and also people talk about the return of Jesus Christ. People are not sure whether it's like all an allegory, whether it's just the return of Christ consciousness, or whether Jesus Christ, the actual incarnation of the Son, will come back again. You guys know what I think, but I'll just share with you guys on here. I think it's both. So I think that Christ consciousness is coming back. That's what I'm trying to teach, and I'm trying to teach people how you can attain it, because you can, everyone can. But I also think that the actual incarnation of the Son is back, and all the gods and goddesses are back, not just the Son. I think that even like Merlin's back, even so, all of these gods and goddesses that we talk about, I believe, are here right now, because this is a really, really important time in the earth right now. We're going through an ascension and awakening. We're going through a big spiritual battle, spiritual warfare, which is probably why past few years you've been feeling a bit off, feeling like shit, been feeling depressed. Depression rates have gone up, suicide rates have gone up, all of these things, because people are really struggling to fight off the negative energy that they've been really trying to put on this plane recently. Now, the thing is, the light has already won, and so the light is already, because the light's already here. Basically, the ascension was happening. There's a spiritual war going on. The evil ones who have tried to run this plane for so long and feed off our energy, they know that the game's done for them, that it's like game under for them. So they are trying to stop the awakening, because this is the only thing they can do to try and maintain power. But it's not happening, because the gods and goddesses and all the light has come onto this plane now. They're all here. The light we're here, the starseeds, you'll all know about them. They're all probably them. So we're all here sharing the wisdom, sharing how to live a good life, sharing how to create like the best life you want, and to also build and create heaven on earth. And so what this reminds me of, just to go back to what I was saying then, is I believe that everyone's saying, oh, the New World Order, they're trying to create like a one world government, one world language. They're going to like, basically, they're going to own everything. We're going to have nothing. What I kind of see it is they're setting all that up so that when the Son does come back, he can take his place as king of this world. He can look after everyone. There's the one unified language will just be a light language, and I'm not talking about the light language that you hear people talking on here that you can't understand what they're saying. I'm talking about us all speaking one language together, but saying words that have light in them, because you guys know from our videos, a lot of the words we say at the minute, they don't have light in them. Like you'll say, oh, that's so sick, and that's meant to mean that's really cool. And it doesn't mean that's really cool. It literally is putting a spell on them that they're sick. So I think true light language and this true universal language that's coming is everyone agreeing on a mutual language that's going to be filled with light and casting positive spells. And I think that that we will have like either Jesus as king or a good leaders of the land. And it might be that we're all split into smaller kingdoms and everyone can manage themselves. And this is what it's reminding me of, is like the Son came here, he separated these 10 different kingdoms. The men were managing themselves, they looked after their own kingdom, he trusted them. And then you can go around and visit the different kingdoms and share the wisdom and stuff like that. And so it reminds me of this that could be coming again. Because good things are coming for us, but it might just seem, it is called the New Earth, Alan, yes, so it might just seem like it's all a bit crazy at the minute, but it's just as we're transitioning. Hey, Steffi. And
Can
also,
we expand on some questions on what because you've read so much, like my brain is about to burst.
yeah, please.
Harry, go ahead. He was here. Harry, you got anything you want to start with, buddy?
No, I wasn't waiting to speak.
Okay. So I believe that listening to what you're saying, I look at everything symbolically. I think there's a mix of both. Like there's truth in it, and then there's symbolic meanings in it. And then there's probably deeper esoteric meanings behind that. But I believe that that sun coming down would be our pineal gland. I think the pineal gland was added into the human being or the whatever hominid that was here at some point in history. And that is, so the 3 gates to that would be Isis, Ra, and El. You know, you have your 3 paths, right? It's so, and then it talked about the 7, right? So your 7 chakras, your 7 colors of the rainbow, that is your light body, the 7.
Yeah.
And then, when it said it's something about the fire, well, between the pineal gland and your pituitary gland, what wraps over the top in the shape of like a G, which is like the whole Freemason G, the gland, that's the fornix. And the fornix directly translates to the furnace. So you don't get baptized through water, you're baptized through fire, because it takes heat to make water evaporate and rise. Well, it's the same thing with your chrism. Your chrism gets to your throat chakra, it crosses the vagus nerve, it vibrates, it turns into a gas. Well, it's the same thing. You're taking a liquid and it's now becoming a gas, or your water, and you're evaporating. So it's just the separation of earthly matter and you're becoming spirit, if that's the best analogy that I have. But it also said that they were created out of nothing, I believe. And that is the chrism. The chrism, these are secretions from glands that come together in your solar plexus, and it forms a psychophysical germ, right? Like there's nothing that physically set out to create that chrism. It is just created. Which is
1,000%. This is one of the things as well.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, because it's in the place of Virgo, isn't it, as well, in your stomach. Bethlehem, I think they call it the house of bread, don't they?
Yeah. But then house of bread, Bethlehem, house of hemisphere, house of the hemispheres. You could look at it that way as well. Yes,
because as well, as I was reading this, there's so much, it's like there's just so much depth to it, because it's like you say, you can literally read it in literal, physical, and also as all metaphorical. And then even like there's extra layers of a bit of both and stuff like that. So this is why this text for me is just so, like, you could just talk about it all day because there's just so much in there.
To me, this predates the Bible. So what I'm hearing is the Israelites, the Gentiles, milk and honey. You're just telling it in a different story, a different manner, but it's the same exact story. The halls of Amenti, I think, is our DNA personally.
That is a really good shout as well. And something that came to me out, we can get a bit further, but it was like a bit further down. And it was talking about how Atlantis sunk. It was talking about, let me just see if I can find it now. So it said that it was talking about how Atlantis sunk, and it was saying that like the children of men had opened like gateways to the lower planes, and they were like allowing and that, to me, it just reminded me of like Atlantis is like water, the ego and your emotions is like water, and so that is often a reference of literally your emotions, like the Great Flood. Some people even say maybe it's literally just you being unenlightened and in your ego and in your emotions, and it's talking about that sinking. And also with the opening and accessing gateways to the lower planes, that's like, to me, I'm like, well, that sounds like you're allowing demons through your chakra portals and stuff. And so it's possible as well that this is literally all, not even real, but all metaphors. And he's talking about, I'll go and find the hidden treasures in the pyramid. But even the word pyramid, isn't that like a fire and then like middle or something? So even the pyramid could be a symbol of his body, and and people are going to go to the actual pyramid thinking they're going to find some secrets, and it's all actually just a reflection of within, and that's where the true wisdom comes.
Yeah,
And that's where the true wisdom keepers will go, oh, actually no, I'm going to try searching within for the answers rather than without, and seeing what
100%.
comes
I
there.
think all the answers are in our DNA, and that's what is turning them on. You have, the major and the minor. I think sound therapy or sound harmonics. But the pyramid, you have the queen's chamber and the king's chamber. That's the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. Then they point at 4 fixed constellations that never changes. It's always those 4.
I tell you what's just come to me just now is, how like they talk about like giants being in the land, and you can see like different mountains that look like a woman laying down and stuff. I've just literally thought, what if the pyramid and the king's and queen's chamber is literally the earth's physical pineal gland and pituitary gland, or the sun and the moon is, within this big giant body that we live in. It could be that they actually are.
That's a really good point. Yeah. Have you ever seen the map where they lay the chakras over the map of the world? And so like Earth has its own chakras, like sine wave. Well, the crown chakra is like, it's just a little bit north of there. I think it's almost like Switzerland type area, but it's how it goes through. But who's to say that's the right wave path, right? Like it would totally make sense if that was like the heart chakra of the earth to me. Because it's like Leo, the lion, the Sphinx, like that whole mystery,
Yeah. That's the thing as well, is a lot of like the stuff that we see, like say that map as an example, how do you really even know if that is legit and true? You almost have to use your own kind of figure it out for yourself with some of this stuff.
I agree 100%.
I'm just going to see what some of my friends have been saying on here. So I didn't message anyone about doing a reading. I don't do that, just so you guys know. And then, thanks, Soulful Bliss. It's just a fake account being weird. Do I believe that aliens are coming soon too? I don't think that real ones are, but I do think that they could fake. I think if there's ever anything like, oh, aliens are here and this and that, I would think it's fake. Even if real aliens do exist, I'm pretty sure they are planning a fake alien invasion. Like that is what they're talking about at the minute. So even if they do exist, even if you've met them or whatever it is, whatever they come up with on the news won't be exactly what it is. So yeah, Soulful Bliss is saying aliens are already here. Yeah, so some people think that like we are aliens who have incarnated in here, and aliens are just different dimensional aspects of us. Some people actually think that actual aliens do exist here. There's extra land that we aren't aware of. Even people talk about the inner earth and different types of beings existing in there and stuff. There's so many different possibilities, really. So Steffi, Gabby, have you got any advice to stop yourself reacting to the most horrible, unkind parent? I think that in the moment you just kind of have to maybe just breathe, try and do some spells or ground yourself to get rid of the bad energy and stuff. And really the best way is to always just tell the truth, even if they're going to act like an arse. But you just need to protect yourself, because people can project their negative energy to you, and then what happens is you react in a stressful way when it wasn't even your stress to begin with. They've just projected that onto you. So you need to just kind of protect yourself, but always like speak the truth, I would say. Also, you eat well anyway, I think, Steffi, but if you've not eaten that well past week, you've eaten junk food, or you've been having animal products and stuff, those things can cause internal stress as well, which means that then you will actually react more stressful to a situation than you would have normally done, just because you've got that stress inside. So Alan, yeah, that could be right. People say that a lot of us are actually aliens in human bodies. We have other lives outside of here with other star races and stuff. Jamie, it is a hacked account. I don't offer out readings. Are there stones that transport light? Yeah, I would say so. Oh, thanks, Steffi. I'm glad that you enjoyed that advice. So my friends on here, let's get back to what we're going through. Harry, Philippe, Jojo, do you have anything you wanted to share before we carry on going through? Jojo.
Yeah, I've just, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. A language, when you want to express things from another level, then you don't have the language. Your language isn't completely useless. You know, God, or a master can't actually talk to us, because all he can do is talk what is suitable to teach us something. But in actual fact, we can't understand him. That's why you're reading this tablets, and you're using words, but the words to describe it would be in a different language, a much higher language, and of course they have to tame that, temper that down so we can understand it. So, you know, it's a bit of a problem.
Such a good point. Such a
Very
good point. And you almost wonder, like, what else we've been missing, all the awesome wisdom that they could have encoded in that language, and it's been dumbed down to standard English and stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be so interesting to find out, wouldn't it?
Well, you have to change your own level, and then you can understand. When you change, when you work on yourself, then you can decipher much more.
That's a good point. There's an old, like, you know, you go really far back in Native American history, and they have a sign language that they use tribe to tribe that was like universal. But it's not so much like, well, were there that many deaf people? I think that the power of the hand chakras, you know, the spoken word, you have just as much power in your hands as you do in your voice.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder, if you could actually see with your third eye the energy we create, people might actually like sculpt elephants in energy while they're talking, you know, like if you could actually see that realm, people might literally be creating these images with their hands or even with their mind, and you'd be able to see them if you could perceive that, which is very interesting, really.
People always ask me why I talk with my hand, because I've always talked with my hands, but I don't do it for like them. I do it for like my brain, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah. It almost like helps you get points out sometimes. I do it too. And sometimes I even think about, is it because you're almost half doing different mudras and you're opening and blocking different channels, and like subconsciously your soul is so wise. Like my soul sometimes sets me up in positive ways that I didn't even realize I'd done it, but somehow I've managed to do something like good for myself, like in the future or whatever. So your subconscious works even without you being aware of what it's doing. And that it's so intelligent. So it really is possible that you already are clearing and cleansing your energy ways through doing the different mudras as you talk, and you just don't even realize you're doing it. Okay.
Yes, there's just one thing I'd like to say. You know, you use your mind to read a book or whatever. That's one part of you. How can you use your feelings? How can you use your feelings to investigate what's written in that book?
I think, can I answer that? So I think
when you go
that I'm sorry. So I think that it is the feelings of love. It's the feeling of love. Every movie, every book, every evil is defeated by love. It's a story as old as time, right? But it's not the pineal gland that's the receiver or the transmitter. The pineal gland's the receiver. The receiver is the crystals that's in your brain. But I think these are only activated when you are pure of heart. You know, when you have really, and I don't think there's any judge or balance to that. But I truly do think that these crystals are activated more with when you're pure of heart, or when you are worthy of the knowledge. So I do feel like feelings 100%, and it's not how you say your feelings, but it's truly how you feel, you between you and God only. And then when you're worthy, that's what enlightenment is. And, some people don't even probably have enlightenment. They don't even know what it is, right? And then there's others that dive deep into it. And, next thing you know, they're trying to figure out the nucleus of an atom and, what the universe is made of. And, that's people like us that just like to expand our thought.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, you're supposed to have a balance,
Right.
one part for feelings and one part, and not just go to the mind. Otherwise, you become a mad professor. You're just a mind, no feelings. And in the school, they don't teach the feelings so much.
The feelings is like the feminine way of processing information, and then the thought is masculine. When I say feelings, I'm not talking about your emotions, because your emotions and your intuition or your feelings are different. But so it's like exactly what you're saying, Harry, is you can read the text on this page, but what intentions were in the guy who wrote this text? Like, what was he thinking about? What was he really like? What was the purpose in writing this and stuff? Obviously, I'm talking about Thoth now. I was called him the guy, but like there's more to be had, and you can feel something sometimes, whether something is right or wrong or true or not. Regardless of what someone's saying, you can feel it. There's that part of the feeling that, like you say, they hide, because that is, once you are aware of how things feel intuitively, or even the energy around you in the room, you get your power back, because you can feel when there's a bad spell on you. You can feel when there's some dark energy or someone with a bad intention, and it's like it opens up your perception so much and unnumbs you from the world around you, which is one of the key factors in really being able to control your own game and be the mage of your own game and be the magician. You need to be aware. Awareness is key. And if you don't have half of it, like you say, Harry, if you're not taught how to use your intuition and your feelings and stuff, then of course you're going to be lost, because you're not in balance.
Yeah, I think that's why Krishna was blue, blue, magnetic, throat chakra, living in that blue, that magnetic side. And Krishna was very loving, compassionate, giving, caring, Hari Krishna. Hari is an anagram for Rhea. You have Gaia, then Rhea was Kronos' wife. And then, so Rhea, Hari, so it's like of the earth, it's of pureness. I call it divine feminine. The masculine is electric, feminine is magnetic.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And some people actually say as well that Krishna was from a star constellation as well, like maybe Blue Avian, or what's the other blue one? The Pleiadians aren't blue, are they? Like Sirius or something? I can't remember who the other blue star race is, but some people say that Krishna was literally just wasn't even incarnated as a human, and that's why he's blue. There's so many different things, but I like that thought about it being the... Oh, seriously. So there's so much to it, really. I'm going to share my screen again to get back to this. So he was talking about how he made the temple out of magic. He used the power of his mind, the power of his word. And it's saying here that he basically had different people who was looking after the kingdom of the earth, and they went around for the wisdom, the ancient wisdom and the light of man. And so Luna, so this is that Undal place. Luna, is that the same thing that this chapter is called, the dweller of Unal? So I don't know if Undal is the same thing or not. But what I did actually find interesting is maybe it is that she is the divine goddess, this dweller of Undal or Lunal is like kind of just the divine feminine, like dweller of the earth, basically saying, or a dweller in the cosmic divine womb, or whatever it is you want to say, just as a way of kind of saying that that's what this place is. So I wondered, Derek, 'cause you know about numerology and stuff. It says he taught TB for years 5 and 10. Now I know that there's no like law of the cosmos saying that you can only become an ascended enlightened master after 15 years or whatever. So what do you think the theology of that might be? And if anyone else has any ideas as well, feel free to share. And
Taught
sorry to
was
put you on the
TB
spot
for
as well
years
if you
5
didn't
and
have
10.
anything.
I don't know about the 5. So
Yeah.
to have a baby is 10 months, 40 weeks, 40 divided by 4 is 10 months. You have 10 fingers, you have 10 toes. It was said that the Nephilim had 6. This is why in Native Americans, when they say how, it was not to say hello, it was to make sure you didn't have a 6th finger, because that was like the eternal race war between the giants of old and then the Native Americans before the Native Americans that we know. They had 6, which makes sense because 6 and 6 is 12, 12 zodiac, everything's a 12ness. But that's where I think our DNA was changed. They added the pineal gland in, and then we became godlike. But the whole 5, because like 10 just goes back to 1, it goes back to the creator. So, but the 5, I'm not 100% on the 5. Well, actually, Leo is the 5th house.
Oh, yes.
Leo, the lion, the tribe of Judah, is the 5th house.
That's really interesting.
And the 10th is Capricorn, the goat, which is where the sun is born. So that's probably the answer.
And it's like Satan. It's like Satan versus Jesus as well, isn't it? That
100% is what that is. Yeah. Is she frozen? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, fab. Yeah, that. Right, I don't know if my Zoom.
You need to put your tiara on. Gabby, can you hear me on TikTok?
It's interesting when they freeze. Joe's the host.
Your Holy Trinity. You've got you've got your sound turned down. Holy Trinity, you've got your sound turned down.
Magic Potion, thanks so much for all the likes.
Yeah.
Yay, thank you guys. Steffi, of course, don't ever feel like you need to interact.
I think she's trying to reboot it right now.
Okay.
Right, let's see if I can just get back onto my Insta.
So
Is the Zoom call still working for you guys?
Yeah, we're still good.
Right, I'm jumping back in. It's my internet's just picking up for some reason.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
interesting.
Right, turn that down. Recorded meditation requirements. I would just follow your guidance with that one.
I don't know
about actual requirements as in, like, because people can say, oh yeah, this is a 432 hertz meditation, and 432 hertz is a good frequency to 4, but how do you actually know that it is in 432? Like, there's no way of actually telling other than how it feels. And so sometimes you just have to like go with what you're drawn to and see how you feel after. And then if they were good, use that person more, check out their other videos, do their other guided meditations. If they weren't so good, find someone else, because sometimes it can be stuff that just resonates with you or doesn't as well. So then back to business. I'm going to share my screen again. Yeah, so this is what you were talking about as well, Derek, about with the light, flashing with the light and fire or whatever it is. And this is another thing that made me think, is it talking about the sun? Because the sun is obviously the element of fire. Is this another representation that it is the sun who's incarnate, who's the one that was teaching those? But it can, if this is all just a literal guide to your own physicality and your own body, your own ascension, which is what a lot of the religious texts are, then it could be that he's found the sun within. He's literally communicating with the energy and the spirit and consciousness of the sun and these elders within. Like, it doesn't have to be that they taught him without.
Saturn also has been talked about as being the first sun. Like, Saturn used to be the sun. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, and then he became like the black sun or something, and they, because
the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so even the stories say that he became first and then he like fell and descended and turned against God and stuff. Where does Satan sit in the story of Adam and Eve then, other than him being a snake? Like, did something exist before Adam and Eve where he was the original Adam? Like, because they talk about Lilith as well. Who's
I was
she?
gonna say, yeah. Oh yeah, they don't talk about Lilith as much as they should.
Yeah, so it's like, was she Satan's bitch?
Yeah.
Was them two kicking it, and then like they both decided, let's just go and make a mess.
It makes
And they
sense
got
though if he's talking about Saturn right now, because Saturn is the Lord of the Rings. It's the seventh sphere. It's the highest one, but Saturn in Hebrew they called El, Le, electricity, Peniel. So if you have Isis, Ra, and El, you have masculine, feminine, and then the Lord of the Rings, Saturn is El. And then so that light would be going to the pineal gland, which is just ironic, because if Saturn is Saturday and it's the color black, well, Jesus said, go within, be still. White light can only come from black light, from darkness. So Saturn being black, you can only get a white sun from either a black sun or maybe a black planet. I mean, so, you know what I mean? The color black is revered with Saturn and, you know, Saturday, and they always talk about it being Satan, but that's just part of the story, right?
Yeah. Someone's saying that there's an echo. There's an echo. I can hear like myself talking through your screen again. Do you know what we did last time to get rid of it?
Yeah, sorry, that's my fault. I turned my mic off when I was trying to get a hold of you a second ago. We should be good now.
Right. Okay, I think so. Guys, if there's an echo or whatever, just let me know, but hopefully the feedback's sorted now. So, and we've got 3.3 likes, 33, number 33 on our thing. So what they always talk about as well is that each soul on the earth needs to be made free from the bondage of night. And just so everyone is aware, like the bondage of night is literally like all the things that keep us as in our lowest state. So anything that on this earth is keeping us away from becoming our highest potential is pretty much a bondage of the night. It's a black magic spell. It's basically energy that's trying to stop us from progressing and growing and have a high frequency. Because if you imagine the realms like density, the lighter you become, the higher up you float and you can go. So after this incarnation, if your soul's so filled with light, you will literally float right up to God, like back to heaven, or the highest of heaven, because there's different levels of everything really. So when you are in bondage with the night, when you've got like literally like negative cords attached to you, holding you down, and you've got all this baggage, and you're not letting go of all your traumas, and you're holding on to all this heaviness and darkness, and you're allowing it to keep you in that lower frequency, then you will stay in the lower realms. And so it's all a big game. It's all just your own choice. Like, you can do what you want, but better things exist for us, and God wanted us to live a really good life. He didn't want us to suffer. He didn't want us to have a bad time. He didn't want us to, he basically created us and the lives for us to live our best life and to be happy and blissful and to just live so like free and fun. And it's that through the hands of men and evil and the darkness or the night that has basically tried to ruin it for everyone else. And so they know that they're going to the underworld, and so they just try and take as many people as they can, because that's what the ego does. It tries to sabotage others rather than trying to like assist your soul in becoming your highest state. Once your soul becomes of the light, your shadow can't exist, because true light doesn't cast a shadow. If you hold a candle up against a wall and shine a light, you can see the shadow of the candle, but you can't see the shadow of the flame, because true light casts no shadow. And so when you become true light within your soul, you have no shadow, you have no ego anymore, and then the night can't control you anymore. And so it's a literal battle between light and the night. So what else does this text say? So he's talking about, there's a darkness that's coming fast over the children of men. This was kind of the last golden age when this was all written, when the information was there, when the knowledge was there. It was at least one of the higher ages, and a great darkness fell upon men. Men descended. This is like the fall of man from like the Garden of Eden, or our fall from grace. We descended into a lower state, a low vibration, a lower way of living, a lower way of being. And so what he's talking about here is saying to Thoth, listen, a darkness is coming over men. And so you'll have the light, you'll always have the light no matter what. And I want you to teach as much light as you can, leave as much light as you can. But it's going to be now some time of darkness before the light starts to return again. And this is that time now, is when the light is starting to return again. So he asked God for the light. God gave him the light. And once you have the light in you, you can never really get rid of it. Once your soul's experienced that amount of light, it wants the light back. We're all meant to be with God in the light. And this is like, we're made in the image of God. We were all angels and gods and goddesses and stars, whatever you want to call them. And it was only through us descending and falling that we lost that graciousness, we lost that holiness within ourselves. But we're all meant to be back there. And so it also says here it talks about the all. So the all is pretty much God. It's more than God, because it's everything that exists. And God itself, the word God, it's been like, it's a Christian word, I think. It's got a lot of limitations on God, on what God is, on who he is, on who she is, on what God does. And the word all is similar to the word Allah, which is the God in Islam, I think. But the thing is, even all these gods with names and stuff, they have limitations on who or what they are, but the all is the all. It's everything. So it's all the gods together. It's every single thing. It's all the light. It's everything that exists. And so the word the all is probably a more accurate way of saying it than what I say. So yeah. So a law is a what? Yes. And also law is an anagram of wall as well. So it's all about limitations, rules, blocking and stuff like that. So the reason why I couldn't hear you, Derek, is I'm just hearing you through my phone now, not actually through Zoom. I don't know why. Can you guys hear Derek okay, when he was talking just then? They're saying no.
It's a bit low.
Super low.
Okay, Derek's gone off somewhere with his phone, so that's why. So I can hear him through TikTok, but he'll be back soon. He was just saying that the word Allah is also a law, like, you know, laws, rules, regulations and stuff. So again, it's like a spell, it's a law, it's like something that's not the infinite all, it's like more just a narrowed kind of like essence of it, if you will. So then let's see what this is. So he's talking about in the Earth's hidden chambers. He's got his wisdom, there's pathways, there's like these different places within the Earth's like crust. And I was thinking, is this like literal or is this metaphoric as well, or is it a bit of both? Like, what do you guys think? Like, could it be possible that he's talking about like the inner Earth and chambers to the inner Earth, or do you reckon it's more metaphorical and he's talking about like energetic pathways up into the heavens and things like that? Jojo, I can't hear. Yeah. Jojo, you're on mute.
I'm just reading through it to absorb it.
Yeah.
You know, the deep into the earth's heart, I follow the pathway and learning the secrets. So, as it said before, through all of infinity. So infinity and everything within. So is it inside the earth?
Yeah.
I need to read it in order to absorb it. So
no worries.
I'll read it.
Philip, did you have anything to say? Or?
I feel like it's spiritual, but also both, like an energy thing, like an astral projection type thing. And if you go into the Earth's core, you'll go into the Earth's energy center. If you do that, might possibly find a way into the halls. But also, I feel like it's also physical. It might be a physical pathway into the core of the Earth, because they find lots of caves that are like super deep down into many other things that have huge ecosystems and things inside of them.
Yeah. Something interesting now you said that as well, actually, is a bit further down. When he talks about Atlantis is about to be sunk because of the negative like portals they've opened and allowed the black magic in and stuff, he says God told them to flee to the people of the rock caves, which I thought was interesting because I've even seen documentaries on like ant people. Have you heard of ant people before and stuff? Like different species of beings live in the caves and stuff.
Dang.
And I think there's actually like I don't think it's Hopi. It's like a story of a tribe. I can't remember where they are, but they actually talk about what do they talk about? About like being saved by going to the ant people and the ant people actually saving them from something, maybe the Great Flood, like it's talking about. So yeah, it's like, this is the thing, like once you start to get on this path, your mind opens to the point where anything could be possible, like literally. You just don't even know, do you really? It's one of them. So yeah, he was talking about Atlantis and how Atlantis ended up falling, magic, and basically people using that power for negative forces rather than positive ones. And what's quite interesting is I've got a friend who said that he was a magician in Atlantis who actually was one of the magicians who created the Great Flood. And he said he's been having to pay back karma for it, but he said that a group of them decided that Atlantis had gone too far, and so they used magic to create the flood and flooded Atlantis. I don't know if it's true, like I don't even know if humans are capable of that, or whether you actually just need it's like a god level thing or what, but I thought it's interesting that he was talking about magicians in Atlantis. But in here, it looks like what he's saying is that, let's just see if we can find that part. So this is when he's talking about getting his own wisdom, sharing it. Yeah, so in his temple, all seeing the dweller lay in his agwanti. So the dweller that they were talking about before, I believe that that is the Son incarnation on the earth. And so like a Jesus Christ type figure. So it's like he had a prophecy. I don't know what an agwanti is. I'm guessing it's some kind of like teepee bed or something. Like, it sounds like he was in his temple in his bed and had a prophesized dream or something, where it says that he, through Atlantis, his soul roamed free. So I don't know whether he was in a dream and like astral projecting and enjoying the land of Atlantis still, but he saw the Atlanteans by their magic opening the gateway that would bring to earth a great woe. So when I read this, I thought, oh crap, like maybe my friend really did like bring to earth a great woe. Like maybe it was that they opened a gateway and they really did bring this flood in, or maybe they just brought too much darkness in. And it was God that was like, right, we need to cleanse. Or even whether, like we were talking earlier, all of this might just be an allegory for your emotional body, and the flood is like a flood of emotions or whatever, and you're allowing either negative light in or positive light in. But then it says here, fast fled his soul then back to his body. So it's like he was enjoying Atlantis and he came back to his body. He arose from his agwanti. So I'm guessing from his sleep or whatever it was. He called them the three mighty messengers, so those other guys, and gave the commands that shattered the world, basically to let everyone know that there was going to be the great flood. And so it then says that he descended to the halls of Amenti, and he called upon the powers of the seven lords. This is the seven main luminaries, the seven planets, the seven rays, and they changed the earth's balance. Down sank Atlantis beneath the dark waves. So I wonder whether like the magicians were actually just bringing in evil, and basically the ascended masters on the earth all was like, right, we need to get all the gods in, call upon all the luminaries, bring forth all the energy and power of the gods, and let's sink Atlantis to stop the portal from opening that would have allowed a lot of demons and negativity in. Again, though, what Derek was saying, the seven lords could be your chakras, and it's talking about you filling yourself with so much light, calling upon all the energy of your chakras and overcoming your own darkness, overcoming your own internal flood of like your emotions and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's what I think that you guys were just talking about a second ago.
Yeah, Derek's just saying. So Derek's
I think that's your Sushumna canal for your Kundalini.
okay.
It's the hollow canal in your spinal cord.
Yeah.
That's like your cerebral spinal fluid and the chrism.
And so what's that called?
Sushumna.
Okay.
So you have the pita, you have your Kundalini, Kunda buffer, then you have the Ida and the
Ingala or
Ida,
something.
The Ida, yeah. And then that in your spine, it's called the Sushumna.
Right, okay.
And I think it's SC or SHUMAMN, something like that. But that's the canal of that energy. That's where that energy flows.
Don't you think it's interesting that that word is pretty similar to the Schumann, the Schumann resonance of the earth?
Exactly. Yes, that's why I believe the inner Earth is a nucleus. I think Earth is a cell.
Yeah.
A nucleus, protons, and electrons. I think the orbs are the electrons. That's what it gives this energy to this realm or this world, whatever you want to call it. That's my opinion, at least.
Right. Joe, would you mind? I don't know if you want to share what you've just put in the chat out loud, or if you want me to read it, but I'd love to know more about how you know that.
Well, I've just looked it up.
Right.
I mean, agwanti, to endure the tolerance of pain and come out of suffering. That's what it said. Right. But again, it depends. So hang on. It depends which way you're using it. So it says an act of endurance, tolerance of pain, hardship, and misfortune. Synonymous
Right.
Tillis pagatus, whatever that means. Yeah, it looks like it's a different language altogether. Derived term. I can't read. I wouldn't even attempt to say these words that are coming under it. But actually, it might go if you said it with Agwanti come out of his pain and endurance of his time in that sentence. I don't remember now because it was further back.
Yeah, because that then makes so much more sense with it all being a metaphor about his instant stuff. So it's there, I think. He was laying, suffering or whatever. His soul roamed free in Atlantis.
The dweller lay in his anguish, his endurance, which through Atlantis his soul roamed free. Yeah, I think it's what Derek said before about it being internal, your own internal darkness going inwards into your own self, isn't it? And your own soul back into from your endurance and pain into your freedom of into Atlantis, I think. I need my glasses as well.
Atlantis could just be a representation of, like the 5D consciousness they talk about, and it could be a representation of an ascend higher consciousness. What I really like about it maybe all being a metaphor is that it means that we can understand ourselves, and if it was all a metaphor, it's so much more useful and helpful for how we can actually change and improve our lives right now to match this science in order to ascend, than if we believe this is all just a true story and there's nothing to be taken for us. I think that when you start to see how it could all be a reflection of your own internal chemistry and your own sufferings and hardships, you can then use this in your own life as a useful tool, which is what we all should be doing, or we all are on the path to do. So he called upon the 7 lords, the 7 chakras, the energy in himself to overcome his hardships. It shattered the gateway that had been opened and shattered the doorway that led down below. So talk about the Kundalini. The Kundalini is your energy moving upwards, and the Kunda buffer is your energy moving downwards. So when you are trying to flight and trying to flow yourself out and ascend up, your Kundalini is going up like that. But if you're doing things that are of the night, or you're not trying to flow yourself with light, your Kundalini basically flops down, reverse, it's inverted, and it becomes what they call Satan's tail. It's like a tail hanging between your legs. That's your energy going down instead. And especially what happens when you living from your bottom chakras, through speed, using your energies of your chakras in a kind of way rather than virtuous ways. When he sank the himself, or overcame his pain challenges, and basically got rid of his emotional body, it shattered the been earned. And again, talking about the portals for darkness, or the portals for the lower plane, those will be closed as soon as you ascend your Kundalini up and become enlightened. Those doors are closed. And so it reminds me, shattering the gateway, it's like the path of the Kunda buffer going down into the lower realms is completely
Oh, she's gone.
Dang.
Oh, I'm still on mute, aren't I? Oh, am I?
No, we hear you.
We're good.
She's gone again. I was just about to write, she sounds like an alien.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was going on? I'm just getting downloaded while she's reading out.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy interference.
Yeah.
love to go and visit these places.
I think she's back.
Chocolate does not destroy connection.
Thank
Or
Hi.
chocolate actually improves it if it's vegan or if you're plant-based. Can you guys hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like an alien.
I sound like an alien.
Going in and out.
Can you hear us all right? Or... Right, it seems to be my internet, I think, which is a shame.
Dropping in. Mm.
That's the first time you've ever had an issue with your internet.
Oh,
Funny that, isn't it?
That's interesting.
Yeah, so this is him saying to those, take your wisdom, take your magic, take your records, and light thou shall be through all the ages. So because he's frightened and he's fight within himself, he'll be in and of the light. And then found by enlightened men. So this light is hidden, but once you become enlightened or find the light within yourself, then you can actually see more light. The more you're filled with, the more light you receive. Light gets light. And it's also to be filled with light is to be bright, to be intelligent. Light has wisdom in it, it has life in it, it has chi in it. And so light, it's like light's the most important thing in the cosmos to be filled with. So over all earth we give ye power, free thou to give it or take it away. And so, yeah, interesting. We were talking earlier about how it says to them, flee to the people of the rock caves. So it really is possible that there's all these different other races or beings that exist during this time. But this is what got me now, because I'm reading about him hiding his spaceship under the Sphinx in Egypt, and I was like, there's no way that he's actually saying he's left his spaceship under the Sphinx in Egypt. So we're reckoning that's probably a metaphor as well. Let's see what he says. Oh no. It says, gathered, I love this, gathered I all of my powers, instruments many of mighty magic. I'm like, I want to know what instruments you had for magic. Probably wands, staffs, organ, crystals.
Oops.
Yeah.
What about just drums or guitar?
Definitely some musical
You as well, you know.
Bongos.
Because music is magic as well.
Yes, it is.
Music is medicine.
Yes. The
The right
universe.
stuff anyway. The wrong stuff can be. Yeah.
So I'll give you a little symbolic reference because I don't really believe in aliens in the sense that the whole ET way outer space thing. My interpretation of a spaceship is, if you're looking at Saturn and it's a circle with rings, now turn it. It's a circle with rings. It's what everybody calls a UFO. There's a little cockpit in the middle with a round circular shape. Well, that's the rings of Saturn. And then that's the circle, what we would actually call the sphere or the body of the planet, is what I'm referring to as the cockpit. I think the ancients have always known the cosmos. The ancients that we're reading about right now, at least.
Yeah.
That's my personal interpretation.
Mhm.
Sounds nice. That sounds correct.
So it says that they basically ascended and flew up, and part of it could literally just be, again, a representation of they ascended their consciousness and flew off to the higher realms consciously. Because some people even say like heaven and hell is literally a state of mind, like it's not even real places. You can heaven or hell on this earth right now. I think it's both again. So like they are real places, but you also can experience a hellish life, a heavenly life depending on your mindset and the whether you're on top of your energy, whether you are in your power and stuff like that. Because you can be thinking positive all the time, and people can hate on you, they can send you bad energy, and black magic can actually ruin people's lives without them even realizing they've got bad spells on them. I once did an astral projection, and I found a group of witches that were putting negative thoughts in people's heads to make them commit suicide. And they'd just done it to a guy, and they were laughing at him as he just came around on the other side. So like, there are some really evil beings that like try and do bad things. You can have these intrusive thoughts and not realize that it's not even your own thoughts, it's demons and evil beings trying to put those thoughts in your head. So
This next part's one it's a good part.
Yeah, so do you want to read out anything that you liked in these parts here?
Yeah, my favorite part is, so know ye, O man, the far in the future invaders shall come out of the deep. Then awake, ye who have wisdom, bring forth my ship and conquer with ease.
Yeah.
So this is, again, the Bible, it says that God says he'll make your enemies a footstool, right? To lift you up to heaven. He'll make your enemies a footstool. He'll give you all the power to defeat thy enemy. Well, when you become enlightened and you see things from every angle and you understand your energy of emotion, this is what's coming out of the deep. Because we can leave this meeting, we can leave yoga, we can leave meditation, and then somebody runs out in front of us, cuts us off. Boom, you're reacting. To be a wise man is not to not react. It is to see deeper than that, right? Well, maybe a kid ran out in front of, it's not to react in a negative manner. That's all I'm trying to say is, so that the future invaders are negative emotions, negative thoughts. It is your personal hell that you can put yourself in. And then it says, bring forth my ship. Well, in mystic, like biblical mystic terminology, your ship or a ship is always your emotions. So if you ever seen that show on Netflix, 1899, somebody had me watch an episode or two of it to try to break it down. I watched 2 episodes and like, that's all, they're stuck on a ship and everybody's arguing and people start jumping overboard. Or this is where Santos says, let the dead bury the dead. If you're not going to arise and awaken, you can't make them wear the glasses. You can't save them. But you can only do the best that you can with your knowledge. And this is 3D to 4D to 5D, because you're going to lose people in your life. Your earth is going to change when you awaken, because now you have a new friends, you have a new following, you have a new path, a new mission. This is your new earthly consciousness.
So it's like putting your glasses that you can't take off. And you've got your perception. You can't give them glasses to somebody else. They've got to want to see it through their own.
Yeah, 20 years ago, I'd argue to my death that aliens were real. And now I'm the voice of reason being like, let's think about this. But I don't argue anymore because I've learned I've been wrong about a lot of things. To me, it doesn't matter. I enjoy learning, but that's why I don't argue. I don't go in depth because it's just emotion. They're pulling that emotion, that energy out of me. And why do I need to defend the globe to somebody who doesn't even care to hear a perspective? Then you get done with that conversation, you're drained.
Well, it's like that book, Gabby, The Power of Emotion. And it's not being negative and it's not being positive. It's having a neutrality to the things, because either emotion, happy or sad, you get the same chemical response in the body. So either way, whether you're happy or sad about it, you're going to get that response. So it's learning to have a neutrality about how life is, I guess.
Well said.
Yeah,
Jesus said, take no thought.
What I like as well about that book is it also says there's actually a different book by the god Hermes, and he wrote the Kybalion, and it's like these 7 laws of the cosmos. One of the laws is that everything swings back and forth on a pendulum. It's like cause and effect. It always goes one way and then the other. So when you're talking about you being in the middle, you can have happiness on one side and sadness on the other. Once you're happy like that, then the pendulum swings back to the equal amount of sadness eventually. It's a constant pendulum back and forth, while your body's trying to get into the middle and find balance, but we're always like that swinging, because it's just a law of the cosmos. It always goes one way then the other, until you can find the balance and basically cut the momentum and the motion or the emotion out of it, because emotion is energy in motion. So once you find the stillness, that's when you overcome the sways and the pulls of the cosmos, being pulled one way then the other. You can find the balance and the centered state to live in and thrive in, really.
That's Harry made a great point earlier. It's all about balance, right? It's all about balance. You know, like the lotus petals, how you add them up, they add up to 144,000.
Yeah, 144, yeah.
Well, instead of going to 144, if you stop at 48 before you multiply, well, 4 and 8 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3. Well, the only thing you have above 48 is your 2 eyes, or your, you know, and then which is your 3rd eye, and then your crown chakra, which is 3. So you have 3 above and a 3 below. And they always talk about the Trinity. Everything's, you know, Trinity, dielectricity, electricity, magnetism. Well, instead of adding them all the way up, I think it's more about balance. It's not about bursting it through your head. I think it's about containing that energy in your heart.
A continuum.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Circular breathing, isn't it? It's the circular breathing. When you do a didgeridoo, you have to circular breathe to keep the balance of the tone of the noise coming out of it. So, well, the tune, whatever. So it's that circular, keeping, as Derek said, that balance within. Interesting.
I like
The
that.
torus field is always flowing into it, so in a circular motion, really. It's always in a loop, the torus field. So
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So what else have we got in this little section then? So we're just, when he's talking about his spaceship, erected a marker in the form of a lion, yet like unto man. There beneath the image rests yet my spaceship, forth to be brought when need shall arise. The lion again could be a representation of like your heart. It could be a representation of the sun, the light within you. There's all sorts of metaphors once you start getting into it. But yeah, the future invaders, something I wanted to say about that as well is it actually also just could be the dark beings that have invaded since this time, because they have, like, the spiritual realm is real, and whether we create the demons, whether we let them in through our portals or what, they do exist, and they have been on this plane and feasting off our energy. That is literally what they've been doing. And so the future invaders shall come out of the deep. This for me just sounds like they're coming up from the underworld, and then it's like, you who have the wisdom, awaken and bring forth my ship and conquer with ease. Something that interesting that I noticed is like the word ship is an anagram of hips, and this is like where your sexual energy kind of lies in your hips. And so it's almost like bringing forth the energy from like your sexual center and like conquering the demons, Venus energy and stuff. And
Sagittarius is the
ships
3rd fire
also.
sign too, Gabby.
Okay, yeah. So and it ties with fire, like talking about.
She's gone off again.
Can you hear me?
Going in and out.
I can hear you guys.
I can hear you good now.
Okay, perfect. So deep beneath the image lies my secret, search and find in the pyramid I built. each to the other is the keystone. So, oh, sure, no way. The keystones are also the ketones. You know, I talk about getting in ketosis and stuff, how it's a really powerful tool within. So the keystones are the ketones, and these are the most powerful. So it says each the gateway that leads it to life. When you're in ketosis, it is such a healing state to be in. It's like God's healing table. You go in this state, and ketones can help with cancer. They can help with any type of like chemical imbalance, schizophrenia, depression, diabetes. It helps with so much stuff. And he did actually talk in an earlier chapter about fasting, the power of fasting, and how if you go into his pyramid on a fast, then you're basically, when you get into ketosis, your chakras are aligned, and the energy from the pyramid can go straight up, and you can become enlightened as a fast track short way. And so he's talking now about search and find in the pyramid I built. And he's talking about the keystones or the ketones. So I think that's a little secret there, just telling you about the power of fasting again. I've even seen a video on TikTok recently where they're talking about a Bible, and someone has taken a little short passage out of the Bible that talks about fasting. And there's a lot of different Bibles that are missing this small little kind of section that says about fasting, which is like they're really trying to hide the powerful secrets that God's given us to heal and to be infinitely healed. Our bodies are always trying to repair themselves. There's no need to ever get ill. There's no need to ever age. There's no need to ever experience suffering on a physical level. We kind of do it to ourselves, really. And the body will heal itself if you give it the tools to do so. So follow the key I leave behind me, seeking the doorway to life shall be thine. Because once you do become enlightened, you become an eternal being on this plane. You don't ever die from the hands of man. You don't die of old age. You can literally live forever on this plane, and this is why Jesus says that if you go through him, you can live forever. He's talking about the path of Christ consciousness. If you attain that, you can live forever on this plane. And so use thou the key of the seven, and open to thee the pathway will fall. So key of the seven could be the seven chakras, using the seven rays of the cosmos for your magic and stuff. Or even just when you get into ketosis and align your seven chakras, then it opens up your doors of perception. It opens up all of your chakras to the light. It fills you with light. It might send you Kundalini and make you an enlightened master. So now unto thee I have given my wisdom. Now unto thee I have given my way. Follow the pathway. Solve thou my secrets. Unto thee I have shown the way. So within saying solve my secrets is definitely hiding little truths in there. You know, it's not to be taken fully literally. There is a lot of the stuff we've been talking about comes from our own like experiences and our own wisdom and what we've researched ourselves. And so is there anything else that anyone wanted to add? I don't know if my internet is bad again, or if just no one has got anything. But
Yeah, so the keystone, that
I
would be
really
the eyeball in the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill, right? So Jesus is the chief cornerstone, the capstone. That capstone, I believe, is our pineal gland, and that pineal gland is that it's the Kundalini is male and female. Well, you're the pineal gland, pituitary gland, male and female. I think that is what bringing the serpent together. They come back together at the pineal gland, which is the connection is the fornix. That's what would send that electrical connection. And so if you were to look up keystone, like biblical terms, it's an archway. This is all the Freemasons, they always built everything to the cosmos. They have 2 pillars, 12 windows, the archway. Well, the fornix is an arch. It's shaped just like that. And on one end's the pineal, the other end's the pituitary, like mammary glands. And I think that's the fornication of that energy.
Yeah, and the Ark of the Covenant, they call it as well, don't they?
Exactly. Yep.
So I'm glad you said the fornication thing, because I was like, isn't it strange that those words are very similar, and it's about the unification of the masculine and feminine.
Yeah. And they say Orion weighs your heart against a feather, right? Well, if you look at like the deacons and Taurus, well, Orion's one of them. You have the shepherd above it, Auriga, and then underneath you have Eridanus. It's the second biggest constellation. It flows all the way towards the South Pole, the River of Fire. And where it ends is Delta Fornicus constellation. And on the other side of that, it's called the Sculptor. And then you have Aquarius, the man. So that's like it's like the path of reincarnation. I think that's my interpretation. Like that's why they named the stars what they did, is to show you before there was a Bible, there was the stars.
Yeah. Awesome. So that's it for this chapter. What's the next one for us? The Key of Magic, my favorite. I've not read these. I'm just reading them fresh with you now. But I do like magic, you guys know, so I think this one's going to be a good one for us next time anyway. So then, to everyone who's joined us on TikTok and on YouTube, thanks so much. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen a sec. Just going to check if anyone's messaged on YouTube. Yeah, some awesome people. Hi everyone, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys being here and sharing with us and commenting. And if you want to join us on the group on the live chat next time, feel free. You can send me your details on my website, and it's just a link in my bio, and then I will send you the link the next call as well. So anyone got anything else they want to share, or are we good?
Thanks again for the enlightening time, and I love reading it. I need to get a copy of it though, so I can read it myself and let it absorb into my brain, because there's so much, isn't there? As you said.
So much. So I'm looking forward to the next one anyway. I'll let you guys know, and then we'll go from there. But have an awesome evening or day, whatever it is for you guys. Or a fun septenary. I'm not going to call it a week. There's nothing weak about our lives and the rays that are to come. So have a nice strong, guys, and I'll see you soon.